In this video, we're going to talk about why you're getting fired, what happened, and how to prevent it in the future, and your strategy for the next 4 years. And this is why you should watch this video, because I'm going to go over all the steps that you need to be successful in the next 4 years. So, okay, let's give it a little background. Credit card defaults, 12-year highs. Why does this matter to you? Why does this matter to you, me, and everybody else? Okay, if people don't have the money to spend on goods and services, they're going to say it's not worth it, and they're not going to buy, they're not going to contribute to the economy, and that's going to put a stress on the company, right? So that's one reason. The second reason is that college grads, look at Harvard. Harvard grads are not getting jobs. So this is absolutely detrimental if you're a college grad from a mediocre college, because if top Harvard people can't get jobs, then you're most likely not going to get a job either if you're from a mediocre college. And now you're like, why so? Because people that go into Harvard have rich parents or something else or top performance, and they can't get jobs. So this is the scenario we're in. Economy's not doing great. We have high interest rates. And now I'm seeing videos that we're going to watch together talking about what happened, marketing, sales, getting laid off as a low-level employee, medium, and director level. So let's watch this video together and see what the issue truly is with most people being let go.
2025, I'm gonna need a refund because this year sucks already. I just got laid off for basically the second time back to back. If you didn't know, I worked at Twitter and I got laid off when Elon Musk acquired the company. Since then, I've been working at a like a content strategy agency type place as a director of strategy, and I just got laid off yesterday. It's surreal because I definitely didn't want to go through another layoff. Being laid off the first time was one of the most traumatic events that have ever happened to me, especially because it happened so publicly. This time was obviously a little bit different, but the company lost some clients, and now here I am without a job.
Okay, we don't need to listen to the whole rest of the story. We got the key points right here. So let's talk about this. Okay, so you were a director of content and marketing, and your your company lost clients. So that can be one or two reasons how I can see it. You didn't perform, or they misused the money and they said we're going to close down. And most likely it's your fault. So let's talk about this. So if you're director of marketing and you do content strategy, I used to offer this as a service and I know a lot about it. So when you do content strategy, you do marketing, it is your job to identify the target, to identify the need, and then remove some objections and boundaries so you can then hand them over to sales, and it's going to be an easy way to close people. So now let's take a hypothetical scenario. So I saw the stat the other day that said New York has the most amount of vegetarians. So about 30%. And so if you're a meat company and you're trying to take over the market of the state of New York, it's going to be more difficult than a state that likes meat, like Texas, right? And so you're going to have a harder time convincing people to buy meat in the state of New York because they believe that it might not be good, or trying to educate the customer that, hey, you want to do that, than in Texas where they kind of like meat. So now, what is your job as a marketer? You need to get the salespeople qualified people. You as a marketer need to make content, make the strategy so it resonates with your audience, and then say, hey, we provide this services. And then you vet them and you make sure that your target audience fits the needs of your clients, and then you hand them over to sales and see how they convert, right? And if you cannot make content, if you cannot make the content or the marketing strategy and identify the need of your clients, you're doomed to fail. And not everybody can be above average, and I get that. And no hate to her, I don't know her situation, but for all my clients that I used to do marketing before, some campaigns failed miserably and some campaigns went really well. So you cannot guarantee the outcome because you don't know who needs that exact company, who needs that, who are their competitors, and it is really expensive to run really great marketing campaigns. And now you're like, well, it's all ads. It's not that easy just to run ads and see them convert. You got to identify competitors and you got to do your research. You got to spend a lot of time figuring out who might need this service, who am I going to market to, who's going to then convert. Is it B2B? Is it B2C, right? And how do you going to get the easiest conversion, get the low-hanging fruit first before you're gonna see huge conversion with bigger ticket items, right? So that's the first thing. Get the low hanging fruit first, and then gain market share, and then grow the company. So what we're doing is I have a marketing agency where I just take on Ali's clients. So I only do that for my own company now. So what I do is I make content, and then I have software and salespeople that will then go in, have conversations, and we try to convert people into paying clients for the service that we have. And if you're being let go and you're at the director level, it mostly has to do that you didn't identify the problem a long time ago, right? And so when you have unhappy clients, and I've had those clients before that ask me to, hey, can you come help me make content? And I said, okay, what are you looking for? Well, I want to grow on TikTok. It's like, what's your budget? Well, I don't really have a budget. Everybody has a budget, right? So you got to find out what the budget is. And then they say, oh, I wanna blow up overnight and gain hundreds of thousands of followers, and I want to gain want to get this huge thing going. And you don't have the infrastructure to handle all these sales, and you're not investing enough time into actually making the good content that's going to be. So what do you need to do first? You got to figure out, okay, this is what my client needs, and set him up for success. So if you have the best product in the world and you have no marketing, nobody knows about that product. So the question is, do you have the best product? So let me pause right there. If you haven't, please click like and subscribe. I do these videos all the time. I didn't do them in Switzerland. It was just rainy, foggy, cold, and my videos didn't get any views because of censorship. So yeah, but now I'm back. Okay, back to the video. If you are running your agency, you need to know, hey, this is my target audience, this is what I want to sell, and set the client up for success. And make sure you understand the product. Whenever I had a marketing agency, whenever I had clients that didn't get the outcome that they were looking for, it was the marketer's responsibility to say, hey, we did not get the key target audience right. And most likely in her situation, she also did not get the key target audience right. And that's where marketing comes in. That's where marketing is the tricky situation. It's not as easy as, let me just upload a video on Facebook and see where it goes, and we'll run some ads behind it. No. It's way more harder than that, because if that's that easy, then everybody be doing it, and there wouldn't be anything to get fired over, because if it's that easy, everybody be doing it, and the glory days of Facebook ads are over, right? So you got to do real strategy. You got to tell people like 12 times before they buy your services that you're actually selling this product. So for you to go out and say, I got fired because clients dropped, that is your responsibility. Because you, in any situation, in any level of the organization, unless you just started off, you're an individual contributor, and they did mass layoffs and you're just early in your career, it's then not your fault. But most likely, if you're a little senior, it is your fault, because you didn't provide them the results that they were looking for. And let me say it this way, for all these people that are going to be in the comments, that is so rude, you're such an a-hole, it wasn't my fault. Well, if your department would have been that great, they wouldn't have let you go. And I can reference that with saying that if you're the golden goose, right, at your company, and you're hitting home runs after home runs, why would they fire you? Why would they fire you? Because if you're that person that drives the best sales team, that has the best marketing team, why would they let you go? And if that's the case, if they do let you go, you wouldn't need a long time to get another job. Because if you're that of a rock star, you can get a job at any company at any time, right? And you have conversions, you have all this other stuff. And this is what I keep telling people. You need to showcase that you've achieved that, right? If you achieve great things with your campaigns, and you had these $1 million campaigns turning around, you had, 90% success rate, why would another company not come in and hire you because you have all these success rates, right? If you have all these success stories, then hey, start talking about them. Start saying, hey, let me do this for your company. And if you're that assured of it, say, let me vet one of your campaigns as my, before I even start, let me just vet one of them. You try it, and you let me know if I'm worth the money afterwards. Because if you do that and say, let me do this for you, let me give you some tweakers and do all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden they see that, hey, this guy isn't full of baloney. It's actually working, and we're actually doing amazing, and we're actually generating money. If he comes in and we're going to give him millions of dollars campaign funds and all this other stuff, and we're going to give them this huge big salary. All of a sudden, we can save money and make more money. It's a no-brainer, right? So if you're at a company and you're sitting at the high level, right, and you're like, I'm a director of strategy, marketing, and you're like, oh, dang it, we just lost 2 clients because we couldn't convert or they dropped. The most reason why these people dropped is they got the outcome that they were looking for. But in marketing, if you got them a good outcome, they're most likely going to say, hey, we're going to redo it. We're going to re-sign up because we want to keep you on. We're going to do all that kind of stuff and then succeed. The only reason how I can see is why they dropped you is they're going to do it in-house, and or they said that campaign most likely didn't achieve the results that they were looking for. Because if you're saying, like back to my New York statement about the meat and the vegetarians, if you're going to give all these people that are going to be moved to sales from marketing, you have a sales funnel built out and all this other stuff, and you're going to jump on a sales call, and you have the top closer, you have the number one guy at your company, and this person says, I'm vegan, I don't like how they butcher animals. It's going to be really hard to convince that guy, because it's an objection belief, to convert that person into a paying customer and says, you know what, whatever my belief is, I'm just going to order meat and I'm going to start buying it, right? So what you're going to have to be doing is you're going to have to remove these objections with marketing. You got to say, hey, if you're a meat eater and all this other stuff, you build a campaign around that to make sure that, hey, if you like barbecue, we got the thing for you. And then you're already removing objections so that people that are vegans or vegetarians aren't going to contact you because it's barbecue, meat, it's backyards, right? It's almost like the alcohol industry that's having a crisis right now because people aren't drinking and they aren't buying that much liquor. So if you're one of these people that are going to do that and trying to run ads to Gen Zs and say, you got to start drinking, when they're like, nah, I'm good, I don't want to be doing that, it's going to be really, really hard to convince them, right? And when it's harder to convince them, your sales team needs to be harder, needs to be stronger, and needs to be way, way better at their job than you were, because you're actually supposed to vet these people as a marketer, right? And so that's kind of why I stopped offering marketing and content creation strategies, because it's so hard for these to compete in that market where you can just go on Fiverr, find somebody and pay them a few $100 and they'll come up with everything. But it's not going to be good enough. I'm telling you. If you're like, I'm going to go on Fiverr and hire this person to do marketing or do something else, and you're going to pay him no money, he's not going to do the research, or they are not going to do the research to then say, hey, this is your product, this is your target audience. Let me do a deep analysis of how we're going to do it and come up with great marketing strategies. This most of the time costs tens of thousands of dollars if you want to do it right, because there's an onboarding process. You got to know a whole bunch of things. Who's your target audience? Who's your ideal customers? What's the bounce rate? What's the click-through rate? What is how many people saw it? How many people did not buy it? How many people did we lose during the sales process, right? And my thing is, like, we always lose 50%. In my business, it's like if you run an ad that says sign up to the free community, then we lose about 50% of people from that ad or whatever we run. 50% are going to do that, and then the actual purchase rate is way, way smaller. So now you got to see, as a marketer, hey, if we run ads for, let's say, $10,000, right, and we get 1 or 2 customers that pay us, let's say, $2,000, then is it going to be worth that? Because is the lifetime of that customer going to be enough money to cover the cost that we've dropped into marketing, right? So the thing is always to, hey, is that customer who we're going to acquire, is he going to stay enough with us so we can recoup that investment? And that's the great thing about selling a subscription, right? That's why everything is going towards subscription models. So you can then say, hey, as a subscription model, this is my success, and with my success, your success comes, right? So if you have, and I get these emails all the time where they say, hey, I wanna offer you this brand deal, and I get these emails all the time from video platforms and all this other stuff, and they say the monthly subscription is like $20, $30, but to sign up, so if you wanted to sign up with my referral link, they'll pay me hundreds of dollars. Why? Because they know that the average customer is gonna stay 6, 8, 9, 10 months, and so it's a good ROI on them, right? So they pay you $200 and they know that they can double their money or whatever and sell them other services on the back end. So you as a marketer have to see, hey, if we get that customers, we spend 10 grand, we got 2 customers that pay 2 grand. How can we upsell these customers at the end of the funnel to make sure that they re-sign up, that they get some other deals, and that we can get way more money out of them? So now let's say these customers sign up for 2 grand, and they're going to constantly be buying, right? So all of a sudden they buy every few months because they like the product. They tell their friends about it. And then all of a sudden they're going to refer you because you have a great product. And all of a sudden those $10,000 you've spent on ads will become into 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 because you marketed to the right people. They then spoke greatly about your product and they give you glowing reviews. So you use reviews to market and all this kind of other stuff. But it's expensive because as a marketer, you need to know all these things, right? So yeah, it is not easy. It is not easy in times like this to be a marketer, to do a business. And I looked at the comment section of this lady and said, you should do your own stuff. You should do your own stuff. You should become an independent contractor and do it. But it is actually really, really hard to do it because you can't just start today and want a result tomorrow. So this is most likely not going to happen. It's going to take you at least 6 to 9, 10 months to make a profit. So for me and Ali's business, where I started making content for her, it took us about 2 years with labor effort before we've seen a dime, right? Before we've seen money coming in, because once you're getting started, you're like, you make money fairly quickly, right? So you can say, hey, I got this video, you did all that stuff, and you're gaining customers. But you're investing in infrastructure because it's going to grow, right? So what you do is you make a YouTube channel or whatever it is, and you're like, now I need a better computer because it saves me 2 hours of editing if I get a better computer. So it takes you a long time to actually make that one video with that, and so you upgrade with the computer. So you use the money to upgrade, to do things, and once a year or two passes, you're there where you're like, okay, I got a good enough water hose and I got all this kind of stuff so I can take some money out. And most likely with marketing, it's the same thing. If you start your own thing, it's huge upfront investments. And you can't just go and buy a pressure washer and say, you know what, I'm just going to start pressure washing and I'm going to do that. You got to get a pressure washer. You got to have the right truck. You got to use all these things to make it happen. So it is not easy, especially in times like this, to start your own business. And like I said before, a lot of people have that thing that's like, I'm just going to go because my friend said he'll buy the service from me. He's going to do it. Most likely your friends will never buy from you. It's easier to have your paying clients become your friends than your friends become clients. So this is what we noticed. And even if you're selling a $49 item, that's what we're selling. A $49 super low ticket item, you see clients become friends before your friends become customers. They go to your competitor beforehand, then they come to you. And that's all right. Like I learned to deal with it. And now I would say, don't even come to me, go to my competitor. Because you don't want the friendship to be in jeopardy because of $49, right? And yeah, with high credit card debt, all this other stuff, it makes it even harder. Because then you have the pressure of thinking, I need to succeed. And it is not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And I said this before because people say, you should teach people how to do it. And it took me years to learn all this stuff. It took me years of failure upon failure to succeed. It's not that this is an overnight success. My YouTube channel, I've been uploading videos for a very long time. And now I'm gaining traction. But it took years to learn and how to do it. So yeah. It is absolutely brutal. So now I'm going to plug my own stuff and see how many people of you guys sign up. So if you want to sign up for Ali's free career accelerator, where we give you the resources for free, check this out. It's on School. So you can type it in. And yeah, so let's see how that goes. And if you're in it, shoot me a message that you watched my video. Be interesting to see. But yeah, it is brutal. It's brutal times we're in. A lot of people are struggling. Credit cards are high. People can't get jobs out of college. And so if you have a job, you need to be going the extra mile. And I hate to say this because it's just the times we're in. You got to go out and make sure that people know what you're selling. You need to make sure that your customers get the result that you need. And if you're going to say, I only work 40 hours a week and I'm done, well, now is the time to kick it into high gear and maybe work a little bit more so your client is super happy with you and says, you know what, it was worth it. Because if that's going to happen and then they do let you go, you can always go to your clients and say, oh, we closed out. Do you have a job for me? We can replicate it and we can do even better. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section. So I'm also back. Switzerland was sure a journey, and videos got no views, censorship. I saw comments got deleted, so I was like, yeah, you know what? Not for me, YouTube. Like, I'll be back. So yeah, I'm back. Try to catch up on some videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.